Helicopter 13.4 Effective aeronautical decision-making. Handling workload or tasks during flight, especially for single-pilot operations, is like managing a busy day with a lot on your plate. Think of it as a mental juggling act. You've got charts, radio frequencies, checklists, and the helicopter to handle, all while staying on top of unexpected challenges. Research tells us that our brains have limits on how much information they can handle. It's like trying to plug too many devices into a power strip. Something's got to give. In aviation, when there's too much information to process, you either have to drop less important tasks or risk doing everything a bit haphazardly. Not an ideal situation when you're up in the air. Good workload management is like planning your day efficiently. Experienced pilots learn to predict when things will get crazy and get ready during the calm moments. It's like doing your homework before a big presentation, reviewing charts, setting radio frequencies, and making sure everything's in order well before entering high traffic areas or tricky flight conditions. Prioritizing is a skill pilots swear by. In emergencies, it's all about focusing on flying the helicopter, finding a good place to land, and only then worrying about communication. It's like dealing with problems step by step. You wouldn't call someone for help before making sure you're safe and sound. Imagine flying into bad weather. That's like an instant surge in your mental to-do list. Suddenly, you're not just looking out at the scenery, you're relying on your instruments. It's a bit like switching from driving with a clear view to navigating blindly. The key is training and planning, making sure you trust your instruments instead of clinging to a fading visual reference. When things get overwhelming, pilots have a 4-step mantra: stop, think, slow down, and prioritize. It's like hitting a mental pause button to get your bearings. Lowering workload involves keeping a cool head, thinking things through, and using your experience to tackle the situation. And here's a pro tip: sometimes, you can share the load. Delegating tasks, like setting radio frequencies, can free up mental space for more critical duties. It's like having a co-pilot for specific tasks, ensuring you're not drowning in responsibilities. So, managing workload in flight is a bit like managing a hectic day. Plan ahead, prioritize, and know when to delegate. It's all about keeping your mental circuits from getting overloaded and ensuring a smooth ride through the skies. Picture situational awareness or SAW as the pilot's mental radar, constantly scanning the environment, aircraft systems, and potential hazards. It's not just about flying the helicopter, it's about being fully tuned into everything happening around you. In the helicopter world, situational awareness is like a delicate balance. Lose it, and you risk getting into a world of trouble. Whether you're on a routine job or dealing with unexpected challenges, maintaining situational awareness is the key to safe flight operations. Now, keeping track of all the factors that can impact your flight involves some serious multitasking. You've got to be aware of the aircraft systems, the environment, other aircraft, potential hazards, and, of course, your own state of mind. It's a mental checklist that can't be skipped. Distractions, however, can be like stealthy enemies. Ever find yourself forgetting you're actually flying a helicopter because you're immersed in your work, whether it's long-line operations, navigating city obstacles for a film crew, or any other task? That's a classic case of losing situational awareness. Maintaining situational awareness involves using all the skills you've learned in risk management. Assessing your fitness as a pilot, keeping an eye on navigation equipment, and staying in good communication with air traffic control. These are all part of the situational awareness game. But, here's the catch: there are obstacles that can sneak up and mess with your situational awareness. Take fatigue, for example. Long flights, varying schedules, and disrupted sleep patterns can turn you from sharp to sluggish. It's like trying to function on a low battery. When tasks become routine, there's a risk of relaxing a bit too much. Just because everything seems smooth doesn't mean it is. Like fatigue, complacency can quietly chip away at your effectiveness. So, how do you combat these enemies of situational awareness? Well, awareness is the first step. Recognizing when fatigue is setting in, or when complacency is trying to sneak up, puts you ahead of the game. Are you still relying on checklists, or has memory taken over? Are you checking notices to airmen or NOTAMs before every flight, or just when you feel like it? And that mysterious vibration, did you notice it before, or is it new? When things are going smoothly, that's the moment to sharpen your focus. Advanced technology might create a sense of security, but it can also breed complacency. The urge to complete a flight as planned, please passengers, and meet schedules can sometimes cloud your judgment. Effective single-pilot resource management training is your ally here, helping you steer clear of these pitfalls and ensuring you stay on the safe side of the skies. The controlled flight into terrain or CFIT scenario we're looking at here is a stark reminder of how crucial awareness is in aviation. In this case, an emergency medical services or EMS helicopter, on a mission to transport an infant, faced a tragic end due to a lack of pilot awareness. The pilot had a choice between two routes, one crossing rugged mountainous terrain and another, slightly longer, following an interstate highway. Unfortunately, without a weather briefing and with limited visibility, the helicopter followed the direct route. Radar data captured the last few minutes of the flight, aligning with the direct route, before coverage was lost due to the challenging terrain. Controlled flight into terrain or CFIT accidents often share a common thread: limited visibility and a lack of situational awareness. Whether it's nighttime flying or obscured terrain, these accidents usually happen when the pilot realizes the danger only moments before impact. Preventing controlled flight into terrain or CFIT accidents demands meticulous training, planning, and preparation. Before takeoff, it's essential to familiarize yourself with the proposed flight and terrain. Planning and risk assessment should start on the ground, not after taking off. Thoroughly evaluate factors like terrain, visibility, pilot experience, and potential contingencies. If conditions are unfavorable, don't hesitate to delay or postpone the flight. Decisions made on the ground are far easier than in the air. While controlled flight into terrain or CFIT incidents often occur during non-precision approaches and landings, there have been significant advancements in instrument training, equipment, and procedures. Instrument flight should be embraced as a valuable option for safely recovering the aircraft. Regular instrument training instills confidence and ensures a pilot is well versed in approach charts, fixes, and airport elevations. Altitude errors are another common contributor to controlled flight into terrain or CFIT. Modern aircraft come equipped with advanced systems, but pilots must remember they are tools, not infallible decision makers. Pilots must verify that both vertical and horizontal modes are correct and engaged, avoiding blindly following instructions that might lead the aircraft into hazardous terrain. In essence, this tragic controlled flight into terrain or CFIT accident underscores the critical need for constant vigilance, thorough planning, and a comprehensive understanding of the aircraft's systems and the environment. Awareness, both horizontal and vertical, is the linchpin in preventing such devastating incidents. When flying at night without the aid of automated flight equipment, thorough preparation becomes paramount. Night flights pose additional challenges to situation and resource management. Care must be taken in choosing artificial light sources within the cockpit, as excessively bright lights can hinder outside visibility, especially in spotting obstacles or rising terrain. Conducting this planning in a dark room before the flight ensures optimal decision-making. Night flying demands heightened conservatism in decision-making and planning. The degradation of sensory perception and the absence of external references make flying more challenging. Even during pre-flight inspections, a flashlight might cause pilots to overlook minor discrepancies that would be apparent during daylight. Reduced depth perception necessitates increasing hover height and reducing hover speed to avoid obstacles. Weather conditions can be deceptive, making it challenging to detect changes in flight conditions at night. Due to recent controlled flight into terrain night accidents, the National Transportation Safety Board or NTSB issued a safety alert in 2008 with crucial recommendations for night flights. Terrain familiarization is critical. Use sectional charts and topographic references. Follow instrument flight rules practices when planning a nighttime visual flight rules flight. Do not solely depend on air traffic control for terrain warnings. Be cautious of heading instructions from air traffic control and prioritize safety. Consider using supplemental oxygen for flights above 5,000 feet. Obtain information about flight areas using hazard maps and satellite imagery. Arrange day flights for familiarization before night flights to unfamiliar areas. Consider GPS-based terrain awareness units for night flights, especially in remote areas. The safety alert emphasizes oxygen use above 5,000 feet and the importance of exercising light discipline to preserve night vision. Limited outside visibility is a consistent factor in controlled flight into terrain or CFIT accidents, reinforcing the need for comprehensive planning, especially in adverse weather conditions. Automation management is another critical aspect, emphasizing when to use automated systems and when to hand fly. Pilots should first demonstrate proficiency in manual flight before introducing automation. Managing autopilot modes, understanding system peculiarities, and using callouts to reduce the risk of mode confusion are crucial for safe and effective flight. In summary, this chapter highlights the importance of aeronautical decision-making, covering single pilot resource management, risk management, workload management, situational awareness, controlled flight into terrain or CFIT awareness, and automation management. Pilots must be adept at identifying and managing potential risks to ensure safe flying.